I did the whole YouTube thing and had a persona. You know what that's like. And then I was just like, I'm just to show everyone me. Guys, I've been collecting action figures and I like to take these cool pictures of them. And like 70% of the people were like, you're gay. Shut up. I thought you were cool. Now I know that you collect dolls.
I thought all you did was drink Jack Daniels and put bacon in women's assholes. What are you doing?
Were you on a show that I hosted for Discovery for Shark Week?
Oh my God, you were on that?
I hosted that show, dude.
I came in like fucking wasted, eh?
Yes.
I think I was banned from TV after that for a bit. Yes. I was like negotiating stuff with Discovery, and they're like, let's put that boy on ice a little bit. They were like, let's test run it. Okay, that was so... Okay, man, this is like 2012, maybe. Yeah. And it was like full crew epic mealtime. And I honestly remember we made, I was wasted when I got there. We were all wasted. And I think I like even pep talked to them. I was like, guys, we go out there, just do whatever you want. I think it was live, right? Was it live?
I can't
do whatever you want.
I was like, let's just like go crazy. I think it would have been strategically, would have been better today because people would have been like running clips on YouTube of it. Yeah. But back then, Discovery was like, yeah, this is like crazy. This energy is like fucking like really crazy.
You were definitely shit-faced.
Yes. It was a blur, but like you were sitting right next to me.
Yeah. Oh, I was the host. Yeah, that was my job.
It was his show you ruined, is what we're trying to say here, Harley. This is what tonight's about.
That was like a special thing. It was right, wasn't it? Like a special.
I want to tell you, I loved it. Now the network people were like, "What the fuck was that?" I'm like, "That was great TV." Is what that was. That was amazing. We had more dudes like that guy.
We were chill, right?
It was amazing.
No, but like you and I, we were chill, right? We didn't fight on set.
And let me ask you another question.
Tell Kyle we hit it off, you and I.
We hit it off. Let me ask you another question.
That's good. I think better of you now.
Did we ever, because I was on a show, I was writing on a show called Chelsea Lately at the time, and I was trying to get you on the show. Did you ever get on that show?
No, I didn't get on that, but I remember this being a thing that had floated around a bunch, and I was always down for everything.
Yeah, I know.
Like my rule was like, if anyone called me to be on something, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. And we would go and do it. That Discovery Shark Week thing was huge. That was like, it was kind of like after I was like, whoa, what did we do? I was like crazy that day. And we went on, and like, you unlocked like such a memory because like, how sad is that like I was on TV and I'm like, I'm just gonna, like, when you have like a fucked up night and you delete your Snap stories or whatever, and you're like, I'm never gonna think about that again. I did that for something that was supposed to be really special. But I went a little crazy, I guess.
Yeah, 2012, 11 years ago, you were the sauce boss leaning in.
I just wish I remembered it.
It was great TV, dude. It was great TV.
I'm sure it's recorded. Don't worry.
I want to. What was Harley doing? Just like, oh, get a load of this shark.
Do you know what, dude? I might have it. I mean, I know sick. I have all.
I remember standing a lot and like moving. We were. Everyone was standing and moving, and it was kind of like everyone sit down, and it's and like we had a chum bucket. We had like it was like human chum.
That's
or something like that, and yeah, that was crazy.
Were you riffing? Like, were you up there like, you know what's funny about sharks? They're the opposite of us. I like the great white shark. They're only 7% of the sharks.
I was like cringe, obnoxious 20. No, I was like FPS Russia's best bud character. So I was like, we got these fucking sharks. Well, you better put your bacon on them. Like, I was just like,
you're so drunk, you're like hitting the classics over and over. It's just like,
it was classic time. It was like classic was now. Like, I was like, this is right. This is the right thing to be.
But here's the thing is that what I loved about Discovery is every episode they let me book somebody. And I remember watching you, and I was like, this dude is going to be so good live. And they were like, how are you going to be able to control him? I'm like, I don't think I will be. But that's going to be great. That's going to be great. We had there was a show called Moonshiners on, too, for a little bit.
Yep.
And so we had the Moonshiners guys on. They were my guests too. And I was like, hey, let's have them bring moonshine on and ask them what moonshine they would pair with like a nice salmon.
Yeah.
And so we set up these fancy dishes of food, and we had this dude named Pickle come in, and he would pair his peach moonshine. He was like, this is probably good with a steak. But I loved having guys like Harley on because, he's alive and awake. And that's what you need for live TV. You need somebody who's going to take the screen and go, okay. I
loved the times that we did get to do something like in traditional media, something like that. Like, so it was always so cool because there's so many people putting it together. But it reminds me of this time that I was on set. It was Ridiculousness, the Rob Dyrdek like clip show. Yeah. And I'll never forget, I was in there, and like no disrespect to anyone, everyone there was actually really cool and nice, and it was fun, and the show was great. But I was in the writing room, and there was a lot of funny writers there. A couple of them who I had like their stand-up bit like downloaded on my phone. Like it was just cool seeing them like riff jokes, and they all wrote jokes for Rob, and then he would come in and hear the jokes. And so like they showed a clip, and one of the writers was like, and then you'd be like something, or if that's a something. And everyone laughs. It was a good joke, and we're like, that's funny. And then Rob's like, I'm just gonna go, what? and they're all like, oh, that's good too, yeah. And then like we watch the show, and the clip plays, and Rob's like, what? And the crowd's like, ah! And I was like, it was just the whole circumstance of that coming together was beautiful to see the sausage being made in that sense.
That's amazing. You know, it's funny.
Some people just know their audience.
Just slaying with what?
It was a good joke. The guy had a great joke, and it was very funny. I was like trying not to laugh too hard because I didn't want to disrupt. And Rob's like, nah, I'm just going to be like, what? And Rob was right, actually. And that's why he has 15 shows on MTV.
You want to hear something funny? When I was in prison, we watched that show all the time. They'd show the reruns. Like it'd be a block of Ridiculousness. So you'd see 12 of them in a row.
That's all they play on
hotel style. It's like that on the hotel.
Your episode comes on, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I didn't say a goddamn thing. They wouldn't believe me anyway.
You didn't try and talk yourself up. Like you see that cooking guy? He's my good buddy.
I would take a piss and think about how I'd gotten to where I was.
It's so funny that is like very Kyle thing to do in my brain. As much as I know Kyle, it's like if that comes on getting, because even if you're like, I know that guy, if I were in jail, I'd be like, fuck that guy. I'd be like, I don't give a fuck about that guy.
I'd ask a question first. I'd be like, what does everyone think of that guy?
They wouldn't believe me. They're like, really? You know that guy? The guy in Ridiculousness. Aren't you in cell block 3 with the pedos?
Harley, did the writers also write jokes for you, or did you have to come in with your jokes?
They didn't write any jokes for me on that, but there's a show called At Midnight that was on Comedy Central where you stand there, and it was like the Chris Hardwick guest. It was a show, but we knew all the questions before.
Yeah.
And you sit down and I sat down with a writer there. Everyone did, and we just you spend 2 hours writing the answer you're comfortable doing. And it's great because you get a talented dude who's sits there and kind of comes up and it could be funny, but you might be like, I can't say that joke. I'm not funny like that. And then they say something, you're like, well, I'm just gonna be like, what? And you find your own what?
You find your voice. Yeah.
That's how we did it on Chelsea too. We would you'd go sit down with somebody who was on the show, and you'd have jokes, and they probably came in with jokes too. And you were like, do you need any jokes for this? Do you want to hear any jokes? Because we would sit in the writer's room and just have a whole list of jokes. And we would write a joke and be like, nah, 2 out of 3 of the people on the panel couldn't tell this joke, but fucking Harley could tell it. So we would earmark certain jokes because we were like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it was super cool. I'm with you. It was super cool to find people who knew their voice so well that they were like, I can't tell the joke that way, but I can tell it this way, and change a word or two to make it fit their cadence and they're
my favorite is like being in a group with people that you're kind of like, it's a funny day, a funny moment. Everyone's like, it's working. And it's always interesting when someone throws something out and what they say, you see another person be like, oh, and then they say something and you're like, I could kind of see how your brain got that from this, but that's still weird that you did that, you know, like,
yeah. I'd be a terrible joke writer. I'd be like, say this, but you have to do it as an Indian guy, or it's not gonna land. And
No,
they'd be like, once again, I'm not doing this. Like,
that's an AI, like this, like you on paper. But no, I think you, Kyle, Woody, like if you sat down and wrote jokes, like if you sat down and did that, like you'd make some good. You guys would make a great.
Stories are easier to write than jokes.
I also think you guys could write jokes for each other.
Yeah, dude, let's do a whole episode, Kyle, where we write each other's joke. People don't know this whole show is scripted. I write this every Wednesday night.
What if you did a whole show where each one of you acted like another one of you?
Damn, that would be funny and a good way to bully.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a podcast, by the way. Anybody listen, this is a podcast. What we do is we come here every week and record this sort of audio story, and then we upload it to the internet for people. We call it a podcast.
It's our thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing Woody.
It's this.
All right, you go.
I know. I'm doing me.
Wait, I got this.
This thing of ours.
Wait, I got one. Oh, here.
The chair spun. So
that's just the Kyle exit. Just
is it?
That was a good one. It's like you've seen it hundreds of times.
Yeah, I'm trying to be professional. That's how a professional stands.
It is. It's ceremonial. Like it's
Yeah.
always the same thing. Headphones off, placed here.